fast lap for you.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this should be second lap. First lap is just a little bit too cold of tires. It's Bristol. We want them a little bit warm. Don't have to worry too much about run up. I mean, it's not going to be worth a ton, but we just want to get to full throttle as early as possible. So I just turned down the hill. So you notice I'm going to turn this to 0.5 speed actually. 0.5 speed. So as we're turning in, and you see that I'm going to get to the top and I'm going to come back down the hill a little bit. And that allows me to kind of straighten out the exit and carry that momentum, but I'm going to be hitting the rev limiter. So turn one here, it doesn't really matter where you go. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, you can go to the bottom. I think that's a little tiny bit slower. If you really rip the top, I think that's pretty good. But I like this middle to top line. For some reason, it's just more comfortable for me, and I was very consistent with it. So I just break a little brake tap and then just go full throttle almost and crank the wheel and try to rotate the car. I could have throttled a little bit more there because you see I didn't use all of my real estate, but the best lap I did was kind of that line, but instead I throttled up a little bit earlier and was able to kind of get it going. So you see I kind of lose a little bit on exit there just because I didn't throttle quite early enough. I didn't use all of my real estate, but it's still a pretty solid corner. Then 3 and 4, you lose a little brake tap. So 3 and 4, I do like the bottom better than the top. Not in terms of how good the line handles, but because we're only going halfway to across the front stretch to get to the start finish line, that means the bottom's going to be better because the momentum up top means less. So because they're pretty equal. So I'm just going to be brake tapping and then straight to back to 70%, then just holding that 70% until I can straighten out my wheel and then go full throttle and try to just push for a little bit of speed off the corner. And because the start finish line is pretty much already there, it doesn't really matter if you had speed up top, you're not going to be able to catch back up. So let's look at that one more time. So a little brake drag about halfway down the hill. Pick it back up with about 70%, 60% throttle. Let the car slide up a little bit. And then as you're able to unload the wheel, you just go full throttle. All right, let's take a look at long run. All right, let's take a look at a little bit of a run here. So not too much to talk about with Bristol long run. You're not going to get a lot of it in trucks. I will say that in most races you might get 20 laps. And really, 20 laps you still can run whatever you want and not feel it. But one way where tire saving might come into place is like, if cautions breed cautions and you just want to stay out for the rest of the race, that's completely fine. So one thing I do think about Bristol is you save a lot of tire running at the bottom using a tiny bit of trail brake on entry, just trying to limit the amount of steering wheel you have to do entering the corner. You don't really want to have to crank the wheel on entry, you want to just ease it in there, use a little bit of brake, and then hold the partial until you get off. You can be a little more aggressive, take a little bit more of an arc when you see that the car tends to get more loose when you do that. And you really want to avoid that because that's how you heat up your tires. And heating up your tires means it's easier to get more heat, more wear, everything snowballs. Oops, almost hit the one. Running the top here can be good, but you use a lot more steering wheel running the top than running the bottom, so I really recommend running the bottom. But, I mean, for restarts and stuff, I mean, I have no recommendation at all. You run whatever you want to run. Running the bottom here, just as for when things string out, if they string out. If you're able to get a lead, hold people off, doing that from the bottom is going to be a lot better than from the top. Top can defend position though, very hard, very hard to make passes on the bottom but on equal tires. So learning to run that top when somebody is trying to challenge you for a position and you don't want to give it up for whatever reason, maybe there's not much time left in the race, maybe you think that the other person's burning the tires off and you don't want to let them by, and you think it's just a net positive to fight them really hard, that top is going to be killer. What you want to avoid is being stuck on the bottom and have someone rip in the top and getting to your outside. Because what you really want to avoid is getting up the car like this and be like, oh, I gotta exit right here. That's like a full tenth that you lose because of that. So I'm turning in shallow and I gotta exit shallow now. Oh, I don't want to hit you. That's like full tenth. And then the guy on the outside, he's like, okay, cool. I can just run my normal line. And it's just a lot faster. You know? That's how people make passes at Bristol, is that they get to their outside and kind of spook them. So when you're running on the inside, you really want to be able to use the whole track. It's worth like a full tenth to use the whole track, as opposed to having to be side by side. So be really conscious of what your positioning is. If you're side by side, you always want to be the guy on the outside, but if you're by yourself, you always want to be on the inside. Kind of help balance the tires out too. For the tire wear, going to be very even. This car handles pretty darn well in my opinion. So just do your best at not sliding the tires, not using too much steering wheel and entry. Those are going to be the main things. 99, 97, so yeah, you want to really limit that right rear sliding, and you can have that happen mostly on the top and the bottom too if you try to push the exit too much. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and hope to see you all on the track.